Thanks for clicking on Conversations with Crosswinds Counseling. I'm Curtis Smith, and I invite you to subscribe to our podcast and to like and share it as well. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Conversations with Crosswinds Counseling. I'm your host, Curtis Smith. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Heather Boise, who is a therapist in Indianapolis for Crosswinds Counseling. Heather, thanks for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We are talking about counseling in general and what to expect when you sign up for counseling, what you need to be thinking about when you take that step. So what advice do you have for someone who might be considering counseling but hasn't taken that step yet? What should they expect? What should they prepare for?
So I always kind of tell my people when I see them for the first time, first appointment might seem a little bit weird or it might feel a little awkward because, we're getting to know each other. You're sharing things you might not normally share with people that you meet for the first time. But knowing that the environment that we provide for therapy is a safe and open environment that you can share as little or as much as you want. And we want you to feel comfortable sharing whatever you feel like is necessary to help us understand you better. I always like to tell people that I refer to the first appointment as kind of like the 20 questions or kind of sometimes can feel like you're in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing. We're just getting to know you and get background information and find out, okay, what's bringing you in and what do you want to work on? And so sometimes it can feel like a lot of questions.
So I suspect there are some people out there who think that sounds awful. I'm now more scared of counseling. I don't want to do 20 questions. I'm nervous about somebody getting to know me and having to open up and share. Mm-hmm. So for those people who were thinking, gosh, maybe counseling would be a good option for me, but that sounds scary. I'm not sure I want to dive into that. What tips, what advice would you have for them to mentally prepare for what counseling is?
I would say that, again, like I said, you can share as much or as little as you want. So feel free to know, okay, there's not going to be that expectation of you come into your first appointment and you pour everything out.
Yeah.
And
it's a process, right?
It's a process. Yeah. Exactly. So knowing that we understand it takes time and that's okay. It takes a lot of courage to take that first step to come in. So even, if it would help to have, okay, maybe these are just like the main points I want to make sure that they know about me, kind of have a plan to come in, that's okay. But also knowing if there's anything you're asked that you don't want to answer or you don't know how to answer, that's okay too.
I'm curious from the therapist side, is there any of that nervousness? You're kind of in the same boat. You're still meeting someone for the first time. You're getting to know them. You're putting them on the spot to a degree. You're asking them a lot of questions. You're asking them to start opening up, even if it's not all in on day one. What is that experience like for a therapist?
I would say for me personally, that experience can be, it's definitely varied, but it comes with that excitement of, okay, I get to sit across from someone new today and hear their story and be able to figure out, okay, why did maybe God put this person across from me so I can help them? Or whether it's help them with something that they feel like is small or something that's big. But also knowing, okay, I don't know what's going to happen in session either. I may ask a question that I think is going to lead down path A and it leads down path B, but just knowing that's okay. It's all starting. I like to kind of think of it as an adventure, kind of starting an adventure with them.
I suspect even for people coming in for counseling, that's true. They may come in with a preconceived notion, but they also might even come in with I want to talk about this. I want to share this. This is the path I want to be on, but maybe they get diverted. Do you see that often? Do you see someone say, oh, I thought we were going to talk about this, or I thought this was really my issue, but I'm starting to see we really should focus on this. And maybe some of that has been part of the issue here.
Yes. I think I like to term them as rabbit trails. Rabbit trails happen a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in the first couple appointments when you and your therapist are really getting to know each other, because there's so much that can get connected. That's all connected. And so you may think, hey, I'm coming in because I'm dealing with some stress or anxiety. And then you keep talking and you realize, oh, wait, maybe some of this has to do with childhood and maybe we need to talk about that more. Or, you know, vice versa. Maybe you're coming in to talk about childhood stuff and then you realize, oh, this is impacting me more now with some stress or anxiety that I didn't realize. That's okay.
That's such an interesting concept to me, this idea that everything about us, all of our thoughts, our feelings, emotions, they're all connected. I tend to think of my own thoughts and feelings as fairly siloed, or definitely that was this time of my life and now I'm this, and that's when I worked there, and this is when I was a kid, and I put things in segments. Do most people kind of function that way? And is it cool? Is it neat to help them kind of connect the dots of, no, this is all part of you. It's all connected. It's all together.
Yes. I think it's very normal for people to kind of do those boxes or compartmentalize a little bit with thoughts and feelings. And that for me is one of the things that I love to be able to share with people. I do a lot of CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, with people. And that one of the core tenets with that is connecting the think. Like our thoughts and our feelings and our actions are all connected. And it's all connected to from the day we were first breath to the end. And that can seem scary sometimes, but I've also seen how working through that can help put a light bulb for people because they're like, oh, that's where that comes from, or that's why I believe that, or okay, now I know what to do. Right.
And when you use CBT, we talk about it, Crosswinds Counseling, all the time, using evidence-based practices. This isn't some theory you came up with. This isn't something, let me try this. This is because there is evidence that says this works in therapy. This is how our brains work. This is how I can show someone that things are connected, right?
Yep.
And so there's a history of good progress with things like CBT.
Yes. Yeah. Like you said, it's evidence-based, and I feel like it also ties in very well with faith as well. Because, I mean, I tell people sometimes in therapy too, when they want to integrate their faith, I'm like, you know, there's a lot of things in the Bible that psychology likes to say, oh, this is a brand new idea. It's like, it's right there. Bible had it first, like the renewing of your mind. That's a biblical kind of foundation or thing that we do, but that's also a core with CBT as well.
How does that work with someone who doesn't want to integrate their faith? Do you just completely leave it out? How do you walk that line of, you have a faith, you can bring it into your therapy, but not everyone wants that?
Yeah. So I respect the fact that not everybody does want to incorporate faith, or maybe they don't have a faith that is important to them. And which is why in the first appointment, that's something we always talk about and ask, okay, is this something you want to incorporate? Is it not? And if it's not, that's okay.
Yeah.
So when we, for example, when I would work on like CBT with people, if they want to integrate faith, then I can incorporate some of that, like scripture that talks about renewing of your mind and things like that. But if they don't want to, then we just stick to more of the psychology side of things, and we just don't incorporate the scripture part into it. And they're still getting pretty much the same basis and foundation. They're just not getting those spiritual nuggets in with it.
Yeah. Well, Heather, thank you. I think this has been enlightening. I hope for some folks out there, it maybe takes away some of the stigma or fear that goes with counseling. If you're considering counseling, you can connect with Heather or one of the great counselors at Crosswinds Counseling by going to crosswindscounseling.org. You can even schedule yourself right there on the website, crosswindscounseling.org. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. Heather, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time on Conversations with Crosswinds Counseling. Thanks for watching Conversations with Crosswinds Counseling today. I hope it was helpful for you. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. Like and share it as well. We appreciate that and hope you have a great day.